In the news right now, we hear about a housing crisis. There is no logical way that you could think that we actually have a housing crisis overall. I think we have to be a little bit...
Live behind decisions I chose. Peaks feel good and the valleys get low. Chains for the tires in the rain, hail, snows. Like this everywhere that I go, everywhere that I go.
Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker, and welcome back to another market update. Right now, we're basically middle of May 2024, and we're going to kind of go back in a little bit of a recap of what's happened so far this year, where we are sitting right now, and maybe we could talk a little bit about the blurry future ahead of us. But to jump right into it right now, three kind of topics on the market update, which is going to be where price points are. Next, we're going to talk about where the sales are. And then the big topic that I don't find a lot of people talking about right now is inventory. So yeah, average price point compared to last year to this year, we're basically sitting at par. Not much has changed there. But from last year in April, we did see a little bit of an increase, especially at the beginning of the year. And then we basically saw it come back down because of the inventory, which we'll get to. So price compared to last year is about par right now. The other thing also is that sales, if you look at it overall in the Toronto Real Estate Board, in the GTA, minus Simcoe. I haven't really looked at Simcoe as a GTA. When I look at GTA, I'm looking at Durham, Halton, Peel, Toronto, York Region, that kind of thing. I don't know when Simcoe got added. Maybe it's been there all along, but I've never really included it. But in my numbers of what I consider the GTA, what I see is that year to date, compared to last year, sales are relatively flat up until about May 15th. That's why I ran my numbers until, in fact, they're up slightly, not even 1%. But the mix has been a little bit different. And I'm just going to look at this because I don't want to get it wrong. But basically, if we look at overall in the GTA, in January, we were about 30% ahead of sales of last year. In February, we're about 15%. In March, we saw it go to negative 4%. April was negative 9%. And right now, first 15 days of May, and maybe not all the sales are recorded this year so far because I went back a week, we're still kind of at that negative 12.5% in terms of sales. But because we had a strong front half, like the strong January and February, it's kind of made it even to the negatives that we had in basically March, April, and May so far. The question is that going to continue to happen? Are we going to continue to see negative sales compared to last year, or is that going to level off, or are sales going to start to increase? It's a weird thing right now because we are in the mid of our spring market and it really doesn't feel like that. And all of this information here right now is leading to the biggest component. Again, like I said, people are not talking about that much, I think, is the inventory position. We are actually sitting at a very, very, very high inventory position right now in the GTA. To put that into perspective for you guys, last year at this time, across the GTA, we basically had around 11,800 listings available for sale. And right now, we have basically over 21,000 listings available for sale. It's about 79% increase over last year of inventory. 79% more inventory we have available right now than we did last year. And that's nuts to see it go up that much. Most of that, like a lot of that inventory is even in the 416 condo market and the downtown condos, 416 Toronto condos. That inventory position is almost 86 or 87% higher than it was last year. All the other regions, if we look at Durham region has about 77% more, Halton 78%, Peel 82%, Toronto overall with freehold and condo has 78%. But if you break that down, Toronto or 416 freehold is actually the least amount of inventory that has increased, which is just under 62%. And condos is about, like I said, 87%. York region has about 80% more inventory. So across the board, about 80% more inventory than we did before. Now, that is kind of leading to why we are starting to see our sales kind of be sluggish a little bit right now as well, because our inventory position has increased a lot over the past 3 months, which is actually reflected in our sales. Now, there's a couple of things that I think can happen moving forward. Like we're going to have to see in June what the Bank of Canada's announcement is going to be about interest rates. Now, we had some news that came out about the inflation rate in April, which was down to 2.7, which is a very reasonable expectation of where it should be in order for the rates to start to drop. I think that there is still a little bit of mixed feelings in June if Bank of Canada is going to be dropping that rate down. Some people I talk to don't feel like that's going to happen. I think majority of the people I talk to are either thinking it's 50-50 or more that Bank of Canada is going to drop the rate. I don't think that anyone is really expecting them to drop the rate like significantly. For the most part, what I've heard is like 0.25%. A few people have told me that it could be as high as like 0.5%. So we'll have to wait to see if they do anything, and if they do, what that's going to be. Now, in my opinion anyways, like I don't think that 0.25% is really going to do anything to really move the needle on the market. I think we have too much inventory. I do think that it's going to help. It's going to get more people out there. I think it's going to add some confidence to the market that basically says that, hey, rates are definitely not going to be going up the way that we can see it right now. And if they do that, even 0.25%, they can say, hey, not going to go up. It could stay the same, but even right now, we believe that chances are that it's going to go lower. And I think that's going to basically fuel that confidence that the rates are going to come down more. So at 0.25% decrease in June, I think we'll start to see some activity. What I like to say is it's going to prime the pumps. And now when it starts to do it again in July, I think that's where you're going to start to get more buy-in to people saying, okay, things are a little bit more stable. And it's not just necessarily new buyers coming into the market. It could be other people that are like, hey, listen, I'm ready to do that move up. The rates seem a little bit more favorable. I might be taking on an extra $100,000 mortgage or whatnot. And then that rate coming down, or thinking that rate's still going to come down, I feel a little bit more comfortable making this transaction. So I think that we're going to have more buyers into that market once the rates start to come down. Hopefully that is going to be June, because we are, like I said, sitting on a lot of inventory right now. The other thing with sitting on a lot of inventory is the fact that our prices aren't really going to be increasing. And that could also happen now. If we see the rates start to come down, we could start to see, once this inventory starts to clear up, that there are going to be price increases. I think, in my opinion anyways, we probably got to get this from having over 21,000 listings available for sale down to somewhere around like 16 or 17,000 listings available for sale, just to start to see a little bit of a modest increase in pricing at the same time. Until the Bank of Canada kind of makes an announcement, I think that there are going to be a lot of people that are on the sideline. There are some polls that are floating around out there. Most of these polls focus on, hey, are you going to be buying once the interest rates come down? And a lot of the respondents to this are saying, yeah, we are going to be. But I saw another poll done by someone, I can't remember exactly where, but they actually asked the question like, is it really interest that's stopping you, or the actual price of the homes? And I think that's another whole situation that we have going on. In the news right now, we hear about a housing crisis. There is no logical way that you could think that we actually have a housing crisis overall. I think we have to be a little bit more specific when we're talking about what kind of a housing crisis we actually have. We don't have a housing crisis in terms of inventory being available or builders being ready to build properties. I don't think we have that problem. We have an affordability problem right now, I think. The government is on a talk right now to say they're going to build 3.9 or 4 million new additional units by 2031, which I think is ridiculous. Like, they haven't been able to put it together until now. I don't know how they're going to deliver an extra 4 million units. And if you're going to plan on delivering an extra 4 million units, which again, I really think is nuts, that's why I'm mentioning it again, how affordable are these units actually going to be? Is it going to meet the needs of the people that are looking for this housing? And if that's not going to happen, and if our inventory position stays at an elevated level, and if interest rates stay at an elevated level, is it going to take some of these houses that are on the market right now, where people could be having an issue servicing their mortgage because they got mortgages at 1.5 or 2%, and no matter if they come down to 4%, they probably still can't afford that place, and they got to be on the market. Is it just going to keep bringing the average price point down, and boom, do you get your affordable housing through there? I'm not sure. But there are a lot of these components that are going on that are going to affect the housing market. Now, to kind of say, to try to help answer a question that I usually get from people, which is this the right time to buy real estate? I don't know. It depends. It's an answer I've heard a lot today about some questions I was asking on another video, but it does really depend. And I always tell people it depends on what your situation is, right? Like, if you have holding power and you're deciding that you want to cash out because you're done with the real estate market for whatever reason, do I think that's a good time to do it right now? I don't know. I would be a little bit hesitant to do it at this point right now. Could be wrong, but I I don't think that's a good time right now anyways. Is it a good time if you're a first-time home buyer? I think that you do have some opportunities over here with the rate starting to come down, especially if you're going to put if you're going to put less than 20% down. I know not everyone has 20% because, I mean, what are you going to go out and buy? Like a $600,000 condo possibly and put $120,000 down as a first-time home buyer without, getting any kind of help or having any kind of significant savings? It's going to be really hard for you to get into the door. Me saying all of that, saying that I've seen some rates out there that if you're going to go on a 25-year amortization mortgage, you could probably get a 5-year fixed rate for around like 4.69, 4.79. So it's not a bad idea for you to kind of possibly get into that market where the prices are lower, especially if you think, and again, like I said, it depends. If you think that the rates are going to continue to come down, we've seen it happen over and over again. The prices will start to creep back up. Again, the caveat is the inventory. The inventory has to come down a certain level in order for the prices to go up. But if rates start to come down, and if it's true that people are going to start to purchase, then that means that the prices will come up. So if you're looking to get into the market as a first-time home buyer, it might be something really worth considering at this point. Even if you don't feel comfortable with a 5-year rate, maybe a 3-year rate might be better for you. You guys probably know, if you watch my channel, I got the perfect mortgage guy for you. So send me a DM, I can send you his contact and you can work out the numbers with him to see if it kind of makes sense for you guys. Again, and I've said this before in my previous market updates, I still think that if you're a move up buyer, it probably still makes sense for you here right now at the same time. If you have a $800,000 house that you're going to sell and you're looking at something that's $1 million, if you look at the average appreciation, I think that you're probably going to end up paying more for that $1 million place than what you're going to be able to get on your $800,000 place when the prices start to come back up. So that is an evaluation that you may want to do. And it may not be all about money, because what the gap may be is I don't know, $20,000, $40,000. I'm not sure how much you value that. But the other thing is the entire process to kind of get through it. If we start to see that inventory level starts to go low, do you really want to be involved with the process where you're going to have to bid with another 5, 10, 15 people and be competitive and possibly pay more than you want because you got emotionally attached to a property, and then having the headache of turning around and trying to sell your property after that and hoping you get what you want for it? So there's a lot there, and it all really depends on what your intention is, what you're going to do next, what your long-term plan is. And that is something I would love to talk to you guys about. I actually like it. I like to know what your plans are so I could try to give you my input, my advice on it. What you decide to do with that, that's up to you. If you work with me, that's awesome. If you don't, at least you can get a different perspective. Saying all of that, I always have a link in these videos at the bottom there, okay? So there's a Calendly link there. I encourage you guys to click on it. A lot more people have been clicking on it. We've been having great 15, 20-minute conversations. And I'm not looking to get you into any business by doing that. We have a quick conversation and I just let them go. I don't harass them to follow up. So if this is something that you may be interested in, having just a quick, candid conversation about what you're thinking and getting my input on it, on your specific situation, click the link below. Let's set up a time. Let's have a quick chat and see if there's anything I can offer you in terms of advice of what you guys are dealing with. Now, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this market update. I try to keep it fun and informational and not to try to add too much fluff to it. So I would like it if you guys could like it, share it with somebody, and also hit subscribe because my content is awesome. I'm sure you guys agree because our viewership is just increasing. Subscribe, guys. Until next time, get Kabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.